For the community, by the community.
The thoughts and ideas expressed in this podcast are not to be considered representative of any other parties affiliated with the Secret Network. We are not qualified to give financial advice, but if we were, we'd say market by secret aggressively.
Welcome back to the Secret Code Podcast. Another interesting week for the Secret Network and its place within the cosmos. Proposal 63 passed, enabling IBC officially. As of the 23rd, Secret can be bought on osmosis and brought much more easily within the US. Probably by the time this video is up, there will be incentives to provide liquidity on osmosis. We expect to see IBC assets also listed on secret dexes such as SecretSwap and CNSwap, each with their own incentives. Also, check out Altermail, the new email alternative built on Secret Network. They're pursuing private video calls, group messaging, a mobile app, payments, NFTs, bridges to other email systems, file sharing, and tons more, all while protecting your privacy. And it just so happens we'll be giving out free memberships until the end of the year, so read the steps in the description on how to win yours. In today's episode, we talk about how Patrick and Marston came up with the idea for JACKAL. We go through the specifics of the project's initial focus, a decentralized, private by default file storage system. From there, we dive deep into Jack's DAO, among many other cool ideas they plan to implement. Listen in and learn more about this upcoming project. As always, your input comes our output.
This is the Secret Code.
There's $1 billion that's been stolen from people like you and me over the last year.
But there's got to be more to these technologies than that. We are the creators of our own data. We can be the masters of our own data.
The masters of our own data.
Welcome back to the Secret Code Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Weissman, joined today with special guests Patrick Dunlop and Marston Connell of JACKAL, a new cybersecurity firm being built on Secret Network with file sharing and lots of other cool stuff. Patrick, Marston, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Eric.
Thanks for having us.
So a little bit, introduce yourselves to our community. I know you guys are kind of new to joining us, and I've been learning about you guys behind the scenes, and I'm super excited for it. But who are you guys?
Yeah, so I'm Patrick. I'm a cryptocurrency and open source investigator, where my job particularly is I work with law firms and corporations doing digital and cryptocurrency investigations. So with that, we've kind of become privacy advocates at the same time. So we found ourselves a perfect little niche in the Secret Network.
And so I'm Marston. I'm a computer science and math minor student, and I've been into blockchain development for a little while now. I started work at Inquisitive Intel, which Patrick runs the OSINT department of. And so I've got a background in open source intelligence and software engineering.
Awesome. Well, welcome you guys. And a little bit more about you guys personally. What are a couple of unique traits about yourselves that you think would connect you to your great grandkids? Is the example I usually use. Just something that's uniquely you that most people wouldn't know.
Yeah, well, uniquely me. I'm a big gamer behind the scenes. I've always been into that. I love football, hockey. We're both Canadians, so we're really big into the winter sports.
But American football, right?
Yeah, American football.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I've had some.
The Canadian stuff's not too good.
Our podcast telegrams had some interesting discussions calling soccer football for some reason. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense.
That's tough.
Well, that's awesome. It's wonderful to meet you guys. Marston, sorry, did you have anything about that? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Unique, man. So I don't know. I just really enjoy programming on the side. So I've been doing a lot of stuff like behind the scenes by myself. So yeah, I guess that's that.
Fair enough. And what got you guys to make the switch into cryptocurrency?
So I got into cryptocurrency. It was my senior year of university. So I got into crypto back in 2019. That was when I did the full plunge in, and I got in all those arguments with my roommates over whether or not it's a valid thing. And luckily, I was right in the end, I believe.
And I in 2019, the same. I looked into CryptoKitties, was my first introduction to it, and I thought it was so cool. And then for some reason, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna jump in on this. And biggest regret of my life, because that was 2 years ago when I could have had a bunch of CryptoKitties. So I really got back into it 2021 this year.
Fair enough. And what drew you guys to Secret Network specifically?
Yeah. So before Jackal, we started building something we called it Keepsake back then, and it was a little bit different a product where we were actually trying to build a digital forensics product that would have chain of custody and use blockchain technology. When we were building it, we kind of realized that when we go to market with this product, we'd have to kind of convince the corporations that NFT technology and blockchain is fundamentally better than what they have. And instead of trying to convince customers to come to us, we decided to go full Web3 and then go straight to the people who are interested in the product. So we can springboard off that, and hopefully once we get to the mass adoption, then that will keep on rolling. Marston was the core developer on Keepsake, which is essentially it's very similar to Jackal. If you have anything to speak to that.
Just the push to Web3. We were backing everything up on the Polygon network at the time, which worked really, really great. But we had to control everybody's private keys ourselves to keep track of all of their files. And we were using like Google Cloud storage, and we could have switched to something like Filecoin or Siacoin, but if we were going to go Web3, we're going Web3, and the privacy on Secret Network just was excellent for us. So we just took the plunge straight there.
Yeah, we jumped in with both feet there. And also what caught our eye when we were kind of towards the end of the development of our previous product, we saw the Supernova event coming around the corner. And then we saw that, and then we saw, okay, we can try to bridge over really cool payment options from Terra, paired with the just privacy by default with Terra, with the Secret Network. And it was too good to be true. So we had to, unfortunately, Marston had to write the whole thing back in Rust. So that's a little bit frustrating, but we're really excited to be here, and we love the space that we're in right now.
Dude, it's so good to hear that you guys are seeing like the opportunities of collaboration between Terra payments and secret privacy and all these other things, and eventually a cache for node services and all kinds of stuff. That's kind of the dream behind all of these Cosmos ecosystems. And now us integrated with IBC, like we do consider them legitimate collaborators, and it's awesome to see that actually take over an enterprise where you guys run an in real life business.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really interesting, and we love just the infrastructure that we're building this firm on using DAO governance, and also using the Secret Network, and using all these different things, and kind of putting it all in a mixing pot to see if we can build a really, really good organization.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure is just fundamentally better. That's why we think we would have the competitive advantage as well.
Absolutely. So go ahead and walk us through Jackal. What is Jackal that you guys are building here on Secret Network?
Yeah, so the current idea for Jackal is we are planning in the future for it to be a professional services organization where we're able to offer professional services in the areas of cybersecurity, investigations, forensics. But what we're also going to build in a different silo right beside that is going to be a really great product line. And that's what we're focused on right now, to build a really strong base for organizations. So that's where we're trying to bring in Jackal Storage, which will be a fundamentally awesome on-chain storage solution that we think is better. And we think we can get the competitive advantage there as well, using offering it for a much cheaper price than our competitors, and also having privacy by default. So we think those are our two horses that we're going to run into the metaverse, I guess is the word to use.
I do think it's funny. I noticed earlier you guys were talking about being investigators, like cyber investigators for your law firm, and it made you more interested in privacy. You must be finding some weird stuff, or being like, oh man, nobody can really hide this stuff. So I like that it's kind of going against your previous job, right?
No, well, the thing is that you'll see the open source intelligence community, they're go hand in hand with digital privacy. And a lot of firms that offer investigative services also are really good at hiding people, believe it or not. So just privacy, in my opinion, is just out of the gate, just a fundamental human right. So we think it's very important for digital privacy. And also it's important to have a little paradigm shift where we switch into business models where the end user isn't the product. So I think we have a really good thing going on here.
That is an excellent tagline. And that's exactly right. Because, it was a trap, but that's exactly what we're going for with Secret Network. We're not trying to make everything hidden and fully anonymous. We're trying to be regulatorily compliant while giving value and ownership of your own data back to the people. So really this should work great for a business, because you should be able to see the information that you own and nobody else should be able to see it. And so it's much, much more secure, ideally. But you said you guys are going to be hosting this this data and this file storage on chain. How much data can you actually store on chain?
That's a good question. I'm gonna have to kick over to Marston. He's the technical advisor on this side of things.
So at first we were looking at storing data directly on the secret network. We just ran into a lot of bottlenecking where we could store a lot of information, but we'd have to split it into like a bunch of little shards, which just wasn't really working for us at the start because of just the massive gas fees that would come along with making like 30 transactions for a PDF document. So we've been looking over at Sia Coin specifically to act as like back-end storage for JACKAL, and then we build on top of it. Because right now, Sia Coin and Filecoin, those two are kind of the big competitors in the actual storage space, but they have the issue with you have to run a node for yourself every single time you want to store anything, which doesn't really work if you want to access that information on your phone. Or if you do, you have to give up your privacy and register with a username and email and all that stuff. So if we can integrate the secret network as a front end and manage all of our files, like file structure on the secret network, as well as your private encryption keys to make sure that nobody else can access your files over on something like Sia, that bridge is going to be a first of its kind, and it will just make privacy 100% there while keeping the usability of something like Sia's Skynet.
Not only keep it also completely decentralized as well, where we have no centralized bottlenecks. That's the really important piece for us. The other thing is that in the short term, for us to get a minimum viable product, we're really focusing on leveraging Sia Coin and things like that. But we're seeing in the future, we're going to be meeting with Secret Labs as well to figure out what the art of the possible is in possibly creating layer 2s or creating other solutions that might be more ideal for our end users as we continue to grow as a DAO, where also the direction of how we develop is also going to be determined by our community.
That's awesome. So something like Skynet for the back end, and then kind of using Secret Network for access control, which is something that we absolutely advertise for our NFTs and whatnot. But it would pretty much just be access control and front end stuff for Secret.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Generally, yeah.
That totally works. I've always thought of that as an added bonus for Secret, but this would totally work for storing more file storage on something that's pre-existing and built already. So innovative solution. I like it. What kind of services do you guys plan to offer? You mentioned it being more of a product line. What products are you guys thinking about bringing out?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So essentially what we're planning on doing is be that service provider regarding, I don't want to make a reference to a centralized solution, but it essentially try to build out a product line similar to AWS, but for Secret Network, where we can be the base for people to start building on, and we can provide that cloud storage solutions that are really needed and that would actually help us rapidly innovate as well. From the product side of things, and then going into the professional services, obviously it's all pending DAO vote. But from our backgrounds, we would be focusing in cybersecurity investigations and forensics, where we could provide these services in a decentralized manner that would also kind of get rid of biases as well, which we find would be really, really interesting. And it also helps us tackle really complex issues such as jurisdiction. So, for example, when a law enforcement is trying to track cryptocurrency and track people down and get recovery for clients that have been robbed or stolen or rug pulled or whatever the situation may be, jurisdictions are nightmares, legal nightmares when it comes to this kind of stuff, because the gears of law move really, really slow, but we're innovating at a light speed when it comes to blockchain and the different networks that are out there right now. So we're trying to bridge that gap so we can actually have a really good, world-class professional services that are completely decentralized, and see if we can scale that out.
I love it. And on your guys' light paper, you talk about how services are feeless with payments via yields. How exactly does that work?
Yeah, so that's a really, really good question. So we're going to be offering many different payment options, obviously. And also, one of the payment options that really caught our eye is we can do sustainable transactions using something like Pylon, or something Pylon similar that we could build on the Secret Network, where we can create, essentially, people would deposit base capital with us, and we'd earn a 20% yield using something similar or the Anchor protocol itself. So it's kind of put into simple terms, it's like you have to deposit $200 to get a couch, and then at the end you get your $200 back and you get to keep your couch. So it's really interesting if we can build that out, and we're really excited about that.
Yeah, I had a fight with my wife kind of maybe a year, 2 years ago, where we like had enough money to pay off her car, and I'm like, but babe, if we put this money and earn yield on it, I'll earn enough to make the payments on the car, and then I'll still have the money for the car. It was a back and forth fight. I'm like, I know in my head, like, this doesn't seem right, but I'm like, isn't this what banks have been doing to us forever anyways? And so I did it, and we now have more than enough money for the car, and I haven't missed a payment. So
well, it's hilarious. I've actually stopped telling my girlfriend anything relating to DeFi because she's going to put me in an institution pretty quick. But hopefully she'll wait around long enough to realize that I'm right.
Join crypto, guys. Never tell your girlfriends or wives anything.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, that's a really brilliant idea. And so you're talking about different payment platforms. So what you pay to be a member, and you like kind of like a retainer for a law firm, or how exactly does membership work? Is it similar to Altermail?
So this is something that we're looking into regarding the storage solutions, and Marston can speak to this as well. But we were looking at using NFTs to kind of choose who. So it's essentially you deposit, you receive an NFT, and to release your funds, you send us your NFT back, and then you lose your storage. So we're playing with different ideas. Obviously, we're early days in development, but Marston can speak to that a lot better than I can, for sure.
Yeah. So with the cross-chain solutions, if we go down the route of something like the Anchor protocol, where you deposit your $200, we could run a smart contract that once you deposit your $200 or whatever it ends up being, you get an NFT sent to your secret network address or to your Terra Luna address, and you can move it to whatever chain you want. And then with that NFT, it's like a pass to enter into the JACKAL system. And then to receive your money back, you just send the NFT right back across chain, and all of your money's returned. You don't lose anything, and you can send the NFT back at any time, basically.
The other idea that we're thinking of, obviously we can do it like, okay, 1 terabyte of storage, 4 terabytes of storage, like here's your NFT and stake with us. But we're also thinking that you can do, for example, if you have a big enterprise system and you want a certain amount of pen testing per month, 5 hours of pen testing a month, you can do the same concept. So we're trying to play a lot with different payment options. And I think that's where we're going to have a lot of not only fun, but also it'll be really interesting how we develop that direction.
This is what NFTs are supposed to be for. I love it so much. I've been following Tor's podcast for the last couple of years, and like I knew that NFTs were going to start with an art phase, and we're still kind of I assume towards the tail end of that before they get more real utility, like exactly this. And that's the phase I've been excited for, where now it replaces notaries and pink slips and airplane tickets and absolutely everything else with provable ownership. That's far more efficient.
And depending on who you share your viewing keys with, it can also have an open audit trail. So, for example, imagine you had Adobe Sign where I send a signature over to someone that needs to sign a document. The likelihood of Adobe coming to testify at trial if this agreement falls apart is very, very slim. But if you use a blockchain to do something similar to this, it's a completely open audit trail with validators that are decentralized. So you don't really need to have that verification, the stamp of approval by Adobe or a similar centralized entity.
And with it being on secret network, only you choose who gets to audit you.
Exactly. And it's also very important for evidence for us. And that's our background for deciding who can see what evidence is really, really important. And also when you give that viewing, it's just fundamentally a better infrastructure to build something like this on.
It's brilliant. I love it. I worked for a law firm for 3 years. I was telling you guys a little bit about it behind the scenes. Yeah. And that totally makes sense. So I kind of see where this is going, but could you guys in your words explain kind of what gap this is going to fill in the ecosystem? Like what necessity currently exists that JACKAL is going to fill and solidify, and why it's going to be huge?
Yeah, that's a really good question. There's other players in the space, but I don't think there's another a player that has all of the different specific ingredients that we have in this specific solution regarding using the secret network with privacy by default. I've touched on this before, and with using Terra with really cool payment options and trying to provide a fundamentally better product at a lower cost. So we're trying to fill that gap as a as an organization. As professional services, we haven't found anyone that's doing this. There might be people out there, but what we're trying to do is scale up a really interesting cybersecurity firm. I think that's something that's needed, and I think by using the blockchain and using we can break barriers down of who we can hire. We can break barriers down of who can actually hire us. It's going to be really interesting where we have an addressable market of anyone who has an internet connection, and it's really interesting to see if we can get this nail this down and see if we can develop.
Yeah, so much of the speculation going on in crypto is based on what could eventually be built, but there's not a whole lot of real world products that are built. And we're starting to see this next phase. So it started with DeFi, but now it's more than just applications. You're getting VR worlds being built and more actual companies that use blockchain for various different reasons. But from what I gather, you're going to kind of use a little bit of Sia Coin, a little bit of Terra, Luna Terra ecosystem, and a little bit of us to build an actual real world product that should be phenomenal, like an actual real world applicable business with doing real world things, not just only speculating. But
yeah, that's the master plan right now for sure.
I love it, man. Love to see it. And yeah, who are your target users then? Is it supposed to be for the end users? Or are you guys looking for businesses? And if so, which kind?
Right now, I think out of the gate, the addressable market is going to be the typical users that we see in cryptocurrency space right now. And that's who our base is going to be. And we've identified that. And we're really, really looking forward to have that level of communication with our community and build a great community around Jackal. And we're looking to do other things such as citizen journalism or investigations or kind of a hybrid between, I don't know how many people are familiar with it. There's a journalism community called Bellingcat, and we're trying to see if we can pair Bellingcat with Rect News and see if we can find a synergy between that and have that be our marketing and just try to develop in really interesting ways. And that's what we're all about here.
I'm not familiar with Bellingcat, but I do love the idea of using this for citizen journalism. That could actually be really, really cool as people lose, especially in the United States where I'm based, people really losing faith in the media, regardless of what your bias is. Seems like nothing's... Yeah.
Absolutely. And just having complementary vetting of information or fact checking, or also using Jackal as an evidence locker where it can't be taken offline. This thing did happen. We have proof right here, and it's uploaded using digital forensic standards. So awesome. We're going to see where we can go with this, and we're really excited. It's obviously early days, and we're really ambitious, but I think we have a good idea here for sure.
So I don't do a whole lot of investment advice on this show. I mean, I am personally getting involved in investing in Altermail. I do plan on investing in you guys in Jackal, but whenever anyone asks me for investing advice, what I always tell them is do your own research, obviously. But the biggest things to look at are they solving an actual problem that really does exist? I believe you guys are. And then are they solving it in a way that is practical? And I think by using Secret Network and the way you guys are building this out, you guys actually are. And I think that's actually a huge issue in the crypto space that lots of people aren't. You guys mentioned that there are other players in the space. There are over 100 smart contract platforms. We're the only ones that industries can really use if you don't want all of your information public. So I don't think that most things are solving things in ways that make sense. I think you guys check that mark. The last thing I tell them to look for is the team. Is the team capable of actually solving this in the way they want to? And you guys sent me a little bit of information on Inquisitive Intel, the actual law firm you guys currently work for. Can you guys tell me a bit about what you guys do?
Yeah, so Inquisitive Intel isn't exactly a law firm. We get engaged by law firms, and we work under the solicitor client privilege umbrella. So they bring us in, and we do the cryptocurrency. And we're kind of the I had a lawyer, I had a judge the other day. We were in a trial, and he asked, I said, okay, so the individual used the browser to conduct this fraud. And he says, what's a browser? So we're essentially yeah, exactly. So we're essentially we do investigations, we do cybersecurity, we do forensic auditing and all the kinds of different things along those sides for law firms, but we're also really good translators. So what we're able to do, we look like two young guys when you talk about the team behind Jackal, but we have a really good base of individuals around us that have tons of experience in the space of investigations, cybersecurity, just traditional law enforcement. But we're trying to build a community in the just completely decentralized service. So we're essentially taking Inquisitive Intel and seeing if we can build it as JACKAL. And I think we have a right idea. We have the right people around us, and hopefully we can get there.
Very cool. Well, you guys have gotten to our community spotlight question. Today's question brought to you by an anonymous user, specifically anonymous user 141, that anon, named CryptoChem. And their question for you today is, how will you be able to extract useful data for forensic investigations on Secret Network without the ability to identify the wallet owner?
Yeah, so that's a great question from Marston, but from my understanding, what's going to happen is that the wallet user is going to use a tool. So we're actually not going to have access to anyone's data ever. We're locking ourselves out of everyone's information. So it's actually the tool that's going to be used to upload the digital file is going to take digital forensic parameters that are really important, such as metadata, timestamps, hash values, all these different things that are fundamental when you bring a piece of evidence to court. Not that everyone needs to use it for that purpose, but we have it there if you need it. Marston can probably speak to it a lot better than I can, though.
Yeah, so with our infrastructure built on the Secret Network, we have it's like a normal Windows file system in a way where every folder has folders or files in it, and you can structure it that way. And every folder will have its own permissions that are taken from its parent folder, and it kind of like scales outwards. So if I have, say, like 10 folders on my system, and I really, really want someone else to have access to every file in one of those folders, I can give them permission to view that single folder on my system, so that they can view everything. They can view the version control of every file. They can view all the metadata. You can give them access keys so that they can access it and read it, but they can't write to it, so that they can't meddle. But if you give someone access to a certain part of your system, they'll be able to view exactly what you want them to view. And that'll give them the ability to do an audit. That'll give them the ability to even just read a poster that you made and give you feedback on it. But you don't have to give away any of your privacy, and you don't even have to necessarily know who the person is, because it's all through your addresses.
Yeah, so at no time do we actually have access to anyone's files. Let's put that one out there. That's going to be, I'm going to put exclamation marks around that one, but at no time will we ever have access to anyone's files.
I love seeing that. I've seen that with JACKAL, with Altermail, and it's like, it exists nowhere else. It's so cool. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand how big that is, where every entity anyone uses, any email provider, any app, like they all have access to your stuff, and maybe they choose to use it, maybe they don't. And this is cool.
The best part about JACKAL, we think, we'll get to this a little bit later, probably with the DAO aspect, but we're held completely accountable by our DAO. Technically, the core team can be fired by our own DAO, and you can bring in another development team, theoretically. So at the end of the day, we're completely building whatever our community wants us to build. And awesome. We're working for you. You're not working for us.
Now, do you guys plan on incorporating as a DAO?
Absolutely. So the JACKAL token is going to be our native governance token. That's going to be voting. That's going to be liquidity providing. That's also going to be staking. And in our revenue structure that we currently have in our white paper, we have about, I think it's a 40%, maybe more allocation to our community, which might be paid out in UST or whatever token. We haven't really ironed down the details because we're so focused building JACKAL storage right now. But essentially what the JACKAL token is, not only an index of our success as a organization, but is also going to be our governance token.
Very cool. And so talk to me a little bit about you guys using Pylon. What makes them your guys' choice for another major building block? What do they offer?
Yeah, so Pylon is the protocol that pairs with Anchor, and then it provides us the ability to do the sustainable transactions. We're planning on using Pylon unless we can find an alternative solution, because some people are going to want to probably make secret payments as well, right? So if we can make something similar on the Secret Network, or if we can find a nice bridge, that's what we're going to be using for that aspect of one of our payment options.
Very cool. And so, just touching up on the DAO, why is it necessary? Like what kind of things would go to governance for this? And
Well-
why choose to make it a DAO instead of just a company?
Well, the reason why we chose a DAO is because it's not completely decentralized if it's centralized by us, a bunch of residents in Canada, right? So what our plan is that we're going to have a minority stake allocation of JACKAL token out of the gate. And with that, we're able to ensure that this project is completely decentralized and everything is up for vote. All the media content or articles, if we choose to do citizen journalism, that's going to be published based on DAO vote. And then the effort that's put towards that, this is the thoughts right now. Everything can change, obviously, according to the DAO. But people are going to be paid for their efforts using JACKAL token and or UST as rewards, or SUST. So we're going, everything is associated with the DAO and the community we want to provide rewards to and just build up individuals with us. And we're excited about different things regarding scholarships, where upon DAO vote, obviously, we're going to be awarding scholarships to different contributors that can pursue different IT certifications. And we're really excited on building our community, and we're a community first organization. So we're really looking on investing directly into our community to build out a good services firm, obviously.
I love it. I want to be in that community, man. No, I really do like the use of DAOs. It does keep people much more involved. I mean, I started this podcast on my own, got a little bit of funding from a DAO, and then I got my position with Secret Swap from a DAO. And so if you get involved and show that you can do something, then everyone has the right to equip you. It's like what companies were supposed to be.
Yeah, or what governments are supposed to be like, I guess, as well.
Right.
It also just keeps us accountable too, and that's the most important. It not only checks everyone else in the community, but it also checks us. And we think that's really important for us to stay decentralized and provide a service as sensitive as this might be.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you guys have a team fully lined up already, or just the two of you guys and you're going to work on bringing some more people?
Yeah, so we have an advisor behind the scenes that he's traditionally worked. He likes to remain anonymous, but he's traditionally worked on blockchain projects. He's from Canada as well. We have two people lined up: one person for marketing and one person for operations. Marston is the CTO. I'm just operations and CEO at the time. And we're looking at scaling really quickly. And we have a large chunk of our JACKAL tokens allocated for individuals to come and help us develop this product. And everyone who has, doesn't matter what your niche is or what your abilities are, we're looking for people to help just grow our community and also grow our product.
Awesome. We'll get involved, and we'll definitely be linking all of your guys' socials and whatever is available here at the bottom of the episode in the description and whatnot, because I'm going to be joining the community, and hopefully more of our podcast listeners can as well.
Yeah, and regarding the team, a little bit more about me. I primarily work with legal teams. I think we've touched on this already, but Marston is he's worked on video game modification development, full stack development, and we've worked together for almost 2 years now at Inquisitive Intel.
Nice, very cool. Well, you guys have made it to the viewing key. Today's viewing key question for you guys: currently, how many nodes may be included in the active validator set on Secret Network? Is it A, 50, B, 70, C, 100, or D, unlimited?
Yeah, I think it's 70B because that was just the governance proposal.
Yeah, they just upped it.
Uh-oh.
That is correct. All right, nice to see you guys are sticking involved in governance. Yeah, Proposal 59 passed and raised the maximum validator set to 70 from 50. We're currently up to 60 being shown right now. So if any of you guys that are listening have been thinking about running a node, I know I had been wanting to since 2017 before they were really around, and wanted to get enough Enigma because you're going to have so much to set up a node and whatnot. But now Paul and I, and now Joe, did spin up our own node. We got the Secret Code podcast node and is one of those 60. But if you guys have been waiting, now's your time to get on. You don't have to compete as much to be shown on the list. So
that's super exciting.
Good job paying attention. You guys really are involved in the community. Love to see it.
Yeah, we're popping in and out. We're working really hard, but we're also staying relevant, and we just love working in this community. And it's everyone is welcomed us with open arms. It wasn't like this over on the Polygon network. I'll tell you that for free.
Got it. Yeah, we've been through a lot as a community. I've been here for 4 years, and it's really surprising in crypto how cohesive and supportive we've been through everything, and through low prices, and through ridiculous amounts of FUD. And so we like to think that we have much more of an ethos than most projects, with the idea of privacy as well as regulatory compliance. And I think that we're much more practical, and I think that we're all going to win. But it's been hard for everyone to stick through that. Everyone has the inclination like, oh, you got to sell because the price is down, and then only want to buy it once it's up to $8-9. And it's still a great investment now, but those of us who have been here a long time are in it for more than the money, and that's cool.
No, and we feel that too. We shopped around different ecosystems, different networks, and we landed here. We joined the Discord, and we saw right away. We're just like this. I think this is the spot.
Sweet. So what's your guys' roadmap for Jackal? What are you guys looking at setting up in the next 3 to 6 months and then down the road?
Yeah, I think that's something Marston can touch on for especially short term right now.
Yeah, so short term and like the 3 to 6 month area, we're really expecting Jackal to be in a general state of completion. So the interaction between the Sia Coin network and the secret network is going to be pretty fleshed out. I mean, there may be a couple bugs here and there, but generally it'll be pretty solid. And then from there, we're going to try and, in the early days, scale it up so that we have things like a Chrome extension that will capture your web page and automatically forward it to the system to keep it really secure, and assist us in our personal like OSINT investigations. And then we want to really push to the DAO that, hey, we have like time and space now to build on top of this. So we want to really get other people involved in building layered services so that they can get on top of Jackal instead of working on Jackal. They'll be building protocols and dApps that interact with it. I know we've been in talks with a couple of people who have been saying that they're interested in using Jackal as a backend once it is fully out there. And I think that's possible in the short term.
Absolutely. And a little bit long, short term as well, try to figure out if we can finalize the governance system as well. IDO, private sales are two things that we're looking for very soon. We're trying to move as fast as we can in that area. Longer term, that's a lot harder for us to say, right? Because we have the whole governance component to our business. What we think is creating the Chrome extension that's trying to build out our forensic services for us to use in our everyday lives, and that's our focus. But that might not be our DAO's focus. So we're going to see where that takes us, obviously. But we're also looking, trying to scale out in the longer terms, around 6 months, maybe even shorter, to get the professional services out, start the citizen journalism, start everything that we want to build around Jackal. That's just not only the product.
I love it. I'm gonna have to tell my sister and some of my friends about this. That would totally fit right in for doing that kind of stuff.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Now, realistically, when you guys do set up a DAO, I assume you get, or have you guys published a full-on report yet for tokenomics for like initial distribution?
Yeah, so we have a working document light paper right now. Okay. That has the majority of our tokenomics in there, and how our revenue is going to be distributed, and how the Jackal tokens are going to be distributed, and things along those lines. We're updating that as we go. We're probably going to stamp and seal it very soon, but it's really hard for us to have an official tokenomics paper when we don't know how we're going to launch on a DEX yet, or we don't know how if we're going to do a launch pad, or if we're not going to do a launch pad, or if we're going to do an IDO ourselves with, or if we're going to do something similar to this is over on Solana, like how the Mango Markets did their IDO. Something like that. So we're really working out the kinks on that kind of thing, but the general parameters of our tokenomics is pretty much ironed out at this time. Awesome.
And is Jackal going to be a SNP20 token?
That's a good question. Yeah,
it is. Awesome. It's going to be fully compliant with SNP20, and it's going to be cross chain as well. So you'll be able to send it to and from anything you want.
Love to see it. Well, I have very strong connections at Secret Swap. If you guys are looking for DEX, we can set up some kind of meeting for that later on.
That would be amazing. We're looking to work with anyone. We've been almost in chats most days with Altermail, and we're really good. We're really excited to just grow alongside all the other projects in this community.
Alter is an incredible platform. I'm really excited for what you guys are building as a new layer on top of Secret Network that will encourage so much more development. We need these stages to then have other real life companies and real world products offer the services that are now available through Web3. Like, we've only been building base layers, and it's not industry ready yet. And we need platforms like what you guys are setting out to build right now. So I'm excited. I'm glad you guys chose to build here on Secret Network. I think it's the best for you, and I think you guys are the best for us. So I love it. Do you guys have any other questions for me, or any other things you guys would like to talk about before we close it out?
Yeah, no, thanks for having us on. We're really excited to be in the community, as we said over and over again, probably throughout this podcast. It's getting repetitive at this point, but we would love anyone to join our communities. Follow us on Twitter. Obviously, we're at JACKAL DAO. And I'm sure that the Secret Code podcast is going to plug all our stuff in the description, hopefully, so we can get our community going and off the ground.
JACKAL DAO, follow them on. Do you guys have a Telegram group or Discord yet?
Yeah, we have a Telegram group as well. We have a Discord. We'll plug everything in the description.
Right. Check the episode description, check the YouTube description, and all of it's going to be there. Again, guys, this if you listen to this on the podcast, this was a video episode, so check it out on YouTube. But Patrick, Marston, thank you guys so much for coming on, explaining your project and the platform you guys are building. I'm personally super excited to join the community for the JACKAL DAO. And hopefully you guys get a whole lot more involvement soon. I'm excited for what you guys could build.
That's great.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you for deciphering the secret code. For the community, by the community. New episodes every Sunday. Secret Sunday.
Thanks for listening. Congrats to add-on number 141 for the Community Spotlight question. The reward for this week comes out to 2.5 secret, and for your top delegation, then it's 5 secret. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for potential guests, please mention them in the comments. We'll see you next week.